start on your blueprints for drawing whatever project that you have found. Hopefully you've found one. If you haven't, go ahead and pause this video and go find a welding project you would like to make blueprints for, and then go ahead and play this video and start writing down some notes on the instructions on how you were supposed to or how you're expected to make your blueprints. Now, when you make blueprints for any kind of a project, maybe it's woodworking or welding or something along those lines, you have 7 different views that you want to look at. You have a projection view that you're going to draw. You have your front, rear, top, bottom, left, and right. So we'll go ahead and we'll draw out the 7 different views of a very basic object, just a stair step of what they should be like, and then you will apply these to your own blueprint creations. So we'll start with the projection view. So if you think about a projection, it's something that is being projected outwards or goes outwards. You think of a projector screen, it filters that light, puts it onto the screen. It starts small and it gets bigger. So as we draw that projection view, ours for our stair step, we have the front of it that we can see, but we have that dimensionality to it, as if it is 3D. Just like you might have done in art class and think back. You have the dimension to it. So we have our stair step, and that's our projection view. Then you have 6 views from that. If you think about it, you have a 3D object. Let's take this bucket, for example. You have, well, here, let's take something that's square. You have this column. If you think about it, you can look at it, you take a picture of it, you have a projection view, just how it is. Now, if you think about it, you have 6 other views or sides you can look at it. Just like you have 6 sides to a cube, there are 6 sides to different projects. You have your front, you have your top. So this is your front, you turn it, you have your right side, just like you're facing it. You have your right and left. The right side is as you're facing it. It's your right. Then you have your left side. We have your rear all the way in the back. Just like we had our top, we have our bottom. So you have your 6 views. So to draw that out, we have our front. And our front view of this is just that square with a chunk taken out. That is our front view. Then we have we'll go ahead and we'll draw our top view. Now you'll notice that these have all been solid lines so far. This is going to continue to be solid lines. These solid lines are called object lines. That means if I were to actually look at this, they're lines that would be visible to me. Nothing's hidden. These are what I can actually see. If I were to look down at this stair step, I would see that crease between that top plane and that lower plane. So we have a square because it's a rectangle, but you see that there are 2 separate planes. I would indicate that by drawing a line. So that's something I would actually see if I were looking down at stair steps. You can see how they're not all level, even though they might be all flat, and you would see that. So we have the top. Now let's draw the flip side of that, and let's draw the bottom. Now, if you're looking at this and you flip it upside down, you would see that you want to know that there is this line here. But if you're looking at it from the bottom, you're not going to be able to see it if it's just a flat surface. How you would draw that is just you have your rectangle, but then you're going to draw a hidden line. A hidden line is just viewed as a dash or a dashed line. So we looked at this from the top. Now we're going to pick it up and we're going to look at it from the bottom. We know that it's just a rectangle, but that there's also that hidden line that we can't see. We recognize that as a dashed line. So we have our front, we have the top and bottom. Let's do the left side. Now remember, that's your left. So we're looking at this. If we were to flip it this way, so we would see that side we currently can't, it would just look like a rectangle. And again, we would have a hidden line. We would see that this line is hidden from us. We mark that using a dashed line. Then we want to go ahead and we'll draw our right. We have our left. Let's do the right side. The right side, you can see that we have this plane here, and it comes and it juts out to make that stair step. So we have again another rectangle. And we have a solid line, another object line there that you can see. And then finally we had our front, so we'll have the bottom view. Or, yes, we have what am I doing? We have the rear view, sorry. So if we have the front, we have the back, and if we just turn it, it's going to be a mirror of that. So if we have, let's make that one a little darker, you turn it and you look at that back view, you can see how these two, the front and the rear, are just mirrored of each other. So those are your 7 views you should have when you're all done. You should have a projection view, a front, top left, bottom right, and a rear. So 7 of them. These should all be drawn on graphing paper. We have lots of graphing paper available to you. We have plenty of it. We have about 10 sheets per student. So you only have 7 pictures, right? So you shouldn't need any more than 7 if you don't even use the back side of the page. So that should be plenty of paper for you to use. Try to remember you're going to need enough space for all of your welding symbols to be at all of those joints that might need welds. Excuse me. And you're going to want to leave space for those welding symbols, and you're just going to want to leave space so it's not all crammed together. So you might put one view on each side of a piece of paper, of that graphing paper. Now, since you're using graphing paper, remember graphing paper has all of those lines on it. Let's grab some to look at. You can see how it's a graph. You can think back to math class and you've used graphing paper before. It has all of those squares on it. Use those squares to your benefit. You want nice and straight lines or as straight as possible as you're drawing your blueprints for whatever project you create. You want to, I'm not requiring that you draw it perfectly to scale. You don't need to know all of the dimensions of the project you're making, but do draw it in proportion to what you think it should be. So the scale doesn't have to be perfect, but please draw in proportions. If you have a pipe and it's the same all the way, it's the same width all the way down, and it's very tall, I should see something that is narrow and tall, not something that is wide and short. So please be proportionate as you're drawing, since I'm not requiring you to draw to scale. Now, again, we had object lines. Those are the lines you can see in our hidden lines. Hidden lines are lines that you know are there, or views that are there, but you can't see it from that side you are viewing the object from. Now, hopefully this answers all of your questions you have. You have the rest of the week to work on this, and when you're done, then you'll start into gas welding. So, before that, you have plenty of time. Take your time. Do the best that you can on it. You're drawing all 7 views, and you need to have welding symbols on 6 of them. So your projection view is just your project. Your welding symbols need to be on these 6, the front, top, bottom, left, right, and rear views. So on those 6 views, you need to have all of your welding symbols. And remember, you can watch the other video you should have just viewed on welding symbols and a review on that. So when you're drawing those reference lines and those weld symbols, you know what you should be, where those arrows should be, and on what side of the reference line those symbols should be on. So if you have any questions, you can always email me. I can't guarantee I'll be back to you as soon as I can, since, or as quickly as you would like, since I'll be not here, but do your best and just be diligent and keep working hard.